If you're having pain right here in your elbow, on the inside of your elbow, you might have something called Golfer's elbow, otherwise known as medial epicondylitis. And in today's video, I'll demonstrate a progression of exercises to fix this problem. Golfer's elbow, otherwise known as medial epicondylitis, is a tendinopathy at the inside of the elbow, right where these muscles of your forearm attach to the elbow. And it usually occurs when people do a lot of really forceful gripping, especially with the wrist in a deviated position. For example, we see this a lot in weightlifters, we see it a lot in tradespeople. Now, early on in the condition, it has to calm down, right? We have to take a step back from whatever activity, movement is irritating the tendon. And that time frame is about 2 to 4 weeks. So after that, most of the time, that inflammatory phase has burned itself out, but we're still left with an abnormal tendon. And under a microscope, it actually looks very much like a frayed rope. Now, for years, we treated this with stretching. We stretched the crap out of people. Well, what we've learned over time is stretching can provide some short-term relief, but it really doesn't provide curative value. And it's this progression of strengthening that actually stimulates the tendon to rebuild itself. In our first exercise, we're going to directly target this bunch of muscles, these muscles in the front of the forearm, most of which attach on this point on the inside of your elbow. That tendon is the irritated tendon, and we're trying to stimulate that to rebuild itself. And again, what stimulates that is a specific progression of strengthening, and this method we call heavy, slow resistance. So I'm going to pick a weight that gets me tired in between the 10 to 15 rep range and maybe even causes a little pain. That's not weird. So I'm simply going to do a wrist curl. So I have my forearm supported. I'm going to let the weight fall, my fingers straighten a bit, and I'm going to come up. And now I mentioned heavy, slow resistance. So you got to move slowly. I tell my patients a 3-second count on the downward movement and a 3-second count on the upward movement. Super slow, super methodical. And you're going to do 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions of this exercise. Our next exercise works a specific muscle that attaches to this tendon. The muscle is called pronator teres. So a great tool for this is simply a hammer. And what you're going to do is let the hammer fall 90 degrees to the outside. Again, slow, 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. Back and forth, again, 10 to 15 times. You should get a little bit tired. A little pain isn't weird. Back and forth. Now notice, I'm not really twisting the heck out of the forearm. I'm not trying to stretch the muscle. Okay, I'm restricting my range of motion to about this 90-degree arc. Again, slow up and slow down, 10 to 15 repetitions. This next exercise is really intended to decrease pain. So you've got this golfer's elbow. It's kind of jacked up because you just had to do some work around the house or yard or at work and you couldn't avoid it. This exercise can help reduce that pain right on the spot. And it seems kind of counterintuitive because it actually involves strengthening the tendon, putting tension through the tendon, but it can actually decrease pain. So I'm going to rest my arm in a supported manner. So I'm on my bench, or you could be on your thigh in this manner. You're going to flex the wrist a little bit, and with your other hand, push into the wrist, but don't allow any movement. So the muscles of my forearm are engaging to prevent any movement, and tension is going through that injured tendon. And you're going to hold this for kind of a long time, 20 seconds approximately. Relax. Give it a few seconds, not a real long break time. And push again. 20-second hold, kind of a long hold. It might hurt a little bit initially, but when you're done, your pain level will actually decrease. For reasons that aren't exactly clear, strengthening the shoulder blade muscles really helps this problem. You can't really rehab this completely without strengthening the shoulder blade muscles. The main theory behind that is perhaps strengthening the shoulder blade, stabilizing the shoulder, having a more stable shoulder, reduces the work that the muscles downstream in the arm have to do during some strenuous activity. In any case, we're going to start out with some band secured somehow, in this case on my bench, and I'm going to move into 3 directions. Our first direction, I'm going to lift kind of up and out, okay? I call this the YMCA exercise in the clinic. So up and down 15 to 20 times, just one set. Take a break, about 30 seconds to a minute, and then raise the arms straight out. Again, 15 to 20 times. Now all of these you can also do lying on the floor if you don't have a bench or you don't have some band, and I'll show you that. The last movement, raising kind of down toward your hips and back. Now with all of these, one thing to concentrate on is keeping your shoulder blade kind of down and in with each repetition. And again here, 15 to 20 repetitions. Those are the exercises I most often use with my patients who have kind of this chronic medial epicondylitis, or golfer's elbow as it's usually called. And again, the point of this program is to really stimulate that tendon to rebuild itself over time. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it helps you get back to what you love to do. Leave a comment. I'd like to know how you're doing with your golfer's elbow, and we'll see you in the next video.